Good morning, Baptist Grove Baptist Church students. I hope that you're doing well. I want to let you know before we head into our lesson that I've been praying for y'all, that I hope that this time has given you the chance to look to God, but also to grow and to build up your faith in Him. I also want to encourage you to continue praying for each other. Find ways to stay in contact with each other and connect. That's through Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, texting. Please find a way to connect to each other, pray for each other, find out each other's needs during this time, because you are the church, and a part of being the church is fellowshipping with one another, and that includes finding ways to encourage each other, finding ways to pray for each other, looking out for each other, and showing others what it means to be a part of the body of Christ through our love. So I want to encourage y'all to continue to do that, and if you haven't done that, to start doing that and make that part of your daily lives. Today we are going to be looking in Romans, and I'll be doing this in two parts to help you out, but we will be going over 5 themes in the book of Romans. Today we're going to be looking at sin and salvation. And so the book of Romans was written by Paul to the church in the city of Rome. And so there's a lot of doctrine in the book of Romans, and so we're going to be going over this theme of sin and salvation today. Now, this will take place of what we do for Sunday mornings for our Sunday school. This will take place of that, and kind of keep us on track with our Sunday school lesson. So at the beginning of Paul's book here, he is trying to help us understand that sin is a part of every one of us. In Romans chapter 3, verse 23, God writes, For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. See, when sin is made our way into our hearts, it corrupts us. It turns us away from God. So sin means that we can't live up to God's standard at all. And so this gets us to ask, what is sin? And the best way to explain it is if you ever been to a camp or something where you had to shoot archery, when you would miss the bullseye, that was called a sin. So when we miss the bullseye, when we miss the target, that's what you would call sin. And so this sometimes means that we even miss it a little way off, or we shoot in the completely different direction from the target. Regardless, we're going to fall short of the glory of God. We're going to miss the mark. We're going to have sin in our life. That's just a part of life. And we must understand that we all will miss it. In every one of us. It doesn't matter how good of a person you are. You will never be sinless. It doesn't matter. You will never be sinless. And so, where does this lead us towards? Sin leads us towards really messed up things. God created each one of us to live, not just physically, but spiritually. He wants us to be spiritually alive. And if we're living in sin, we're spiritually dead. And He wants us to be connected to Him. So being spiritually alive means we are connected to God. And so sin messes us up. See, Paul says in Romans 6:23, he says this, For the wages of sin is death. Because sin is a part of who we are. If you remember the fall, when Adam fell, that became our nature. We became to have a sinful nature. The fall of man created this sinful nature. And so when we live in sin, when we stay in this sin, what happens? Well, death happens. So sin sucks out the life from us. Sin sucks out the joy from us. Sin sucks out God's peace out of us to kill who God made us to be. And we die the same in the sense that we aren't connected to Him. And we are in fact separate from Him. We are separated from God. So sin puts this wedge in between us and God. And what we're going to learn is that there's only one way to the Father, and that is through Christ. And I hope you would join me Sunday evening to hear about that.